So, what we want to talk about now are any kind of letters you get from VA, because getting a letter from VA can be a little overwhelming if you don't know how to respond to it or what the letter is. And there are probably hundreds of different letters you can get from VA. So we will go into the most common ones that we see. The VA is sending you a letter stating that they're trying to get medical records or 4192 from your employer. I would suggest try to get it on your own, because I would not trust that they would do it, or that they have the right address, or that they have the right doctor. I've had situations where a veteran said that he had heart disease, and VA said, okay, we're gonna go and try to get records from your doctor. They got records, or they said they could not get records from some random doctor that was an ENT that had nothing to do with cardiology or even primary care. So pay attention to those letters, and if they are asking for information, I would really try to get it yourself, because it's always going to be easier for you to ask for copies of your records and mail them in rather than VA getting them, or even your attorney. I mean, sometimes it's easier for you to just get it because they'll ask us to pay for it. Don't say they're for your attorney, because they will then try to make you pay for it. Whereas if it's you going and just wanting them for your record, you can get them for free. Another notice that will come from VA are improper form, which is extremely important.
Big one.
Especially in this new system where prior you could file a 526, which is a new claim, whether it's to reopen a denied claim or to file a new claim. Now, if you filed for hypertension in 1999 and you're trying to file for it again in 2023 and you forgot that you filed it in 1999 and you try to file a 526, they're going to send you a notice that says, you filed this on the wrong form, you've applied for this before, you need to file it on a supplemental claim. Claim form. And I see this all the time, where you lose your effective date because you did not file the proper form within the amount of time.
And I would say 50% of the time, that's it. And 50% of the time is the VA is wrong. It really is, yes. You know? I mean, unfortunately, under AMA, it feels like it has made it a lot more difficult for unrepresented veterans to know what to file, either to start their claim over, or to appeal an unfavorable decision. And so you take that and put that into one category. It's already harder. And then two, the VA sometimes doesn't know which form should have been filed, and they'll come back and they'll say this is the improper form. And the only way to make it move forward is to file the form that they want you to file, even though it is improper. You know, the original one was proper.
Another letter that I'm seeing recently is due to PACT Act. I'm seeing letters to widows that says that you may qualify for DIC benefits based on the PACT Act. And that's really important, because if you are a widow who applied X amount of years ago, you now could qualify for benefits, because the PACT Act, what's really interesting about that is for the new conditions, it goes back to the date the act was enacted in August of 2022, but not for widows. Widows can reopen their original DIC claim because of that. So if you're getting those letters, make sure you reach out to an attorney or representative to make sure that you look to see if you are entitled to benefits, because I've been seeing a ton of those. Luckily, we've already have an appeal pending for it because we knew, but I'm getting new cases where I'm getting that letter, and that's something I'm immediately going to look for. Did you apply 20 years ago? Because if you did, it can potentially go back to 20 years ago.
What are your thoughts on so say you have this case and it is, at the board right now, and maybe the appeal wasn't filed all that long ago, and they've now been sent this letter that says, you can file again, which says to me no one's looked in the file to realize that they already have a claim pending. And we all know, even though the VA is not supposed to start a new claim when you have that claim on appeal, they do it often.
Yes.
What do you think as far as whether or not that new claim would be decided prior to the appeal or not?
So I see this a lot with 8940s, with IU pending at the board. And now they qualify for IU because that's been pending at the board for 3 years, and I'm not getting a decision on it. Sometimes do I file a new 8940 to see if they're going to make a decision? Yeah, because why not? What's the worst that they're going to do? Say no, they don't have jurisdiction because of the board?
Right, and they're not.
But sometimes they'll grant it.
Yeah.
And then when that appeal comes about at the board, I'll just argue the effective date. So yeah, sometimes I do that. And I know there are certain situations where you can do that. I don't know for DIC. I haven't done it for DIC, but with that new letter, that is something to definitely consider, because what's the worst they can do? Say it's already pending at the board and you don't have jurisdiction for it. I mean, potentially you may have some effective date issues down the road, but sometimes I'd rather just get someone benefits so they have that monthly benefit and then worry about the effective date.
Especially when we're talking about DIC, because you know there's no other benefit coming in at that point.
Yes.